Hey mama, are you feeling overwhelmed? Like no matter how hard you try, you're still not the mom you know you were meant to be? I get it, and I'm here to tell you you were designed for more. And together, we can get you there. Welcome to the Nature to Nurture podcast. I'm Tiffany, an early childhood specialist, advocate, and mom on this journey with you. I've spent years supporting families and working with children in those critical first 5 years of life, where every moment counts. But here's the thing. The same caregiving practices that help 0 to 5-year-olds thrive are the very same practices that help us, as adults, live purposeful, connected, and thriving lives. It all begins with intention, mindfulness, and showing up for ourselves and our kids. In this podcast, I'll help you discover simple tips and practices for raising your little ones with intention and care, while also guiding you to become the caregiver that you've always wanted to be, the one that you dream of. Each week, I'll share stories from my own life, some practical strategies, and research-backed insights to help you slow down, reconnect, and find joy in the everyday moments. Whether it's creating a bit of time for unstructured play, setting up your nurturing routines, or taking care of yourself as you care for your kids. This is the place for you. If you're ready to embrace the kind of motherhood that feels aligned with who you truly are, be sure to follow the podcast, leave a review, and join our supportive community. We are here to lift each other up every step of the way. All right, Mama, let's dive into today's episode. Hey there, friend. Welcome back to Nature to Nurture, and thank you for joining me for the fourth gift in my gifting series. Today, we are going to be talking about the gift of connection. Now, if you are anything like me, your life is busy, right? There are a million things that are demanding your attention all the time. You've got work, errands, emails, home, family, all the things. But in the midst of all of that, there are these tiny little special moments, these windows of time where connection is happening. And if we are intentional about it, if we are seriously looking for these opportunities, those small moments can help us to build the strongest family bonds. Today, I want to talk about how we can nurture connection in our everyday. We're going to look at how those surface-level conversations with our kids might be more meaningful than they seem. How self-acceptance, grace, and boundaries play a key role in getting to connection, and how unstructured play, one of my favorites, can bring our families closer together. And as always, I'll be sharing some of my own stories, because let's be real, we are all figuring this out together, right? So grab your coffee, I'm going to take a drink of my tea, and let's settle into today's episode. For our family, one of the most consistent, regular places that we connect is in the car. And I mean, living 30 minutes from town, we spend a lot of time driving. These car rides really have become something that I treasure deeply. I love being in the car, and even just for fun, I will ask my husband, hey, want to go on a drive? Even if we have nowhere to go. Sometimes it is a dance party in the car with the music blasting, my daughter and I singing karaoke, my husband and my son looking at us like we're crazy. Other times, it's quiet hand-holding with one of my kids while they're sitting in the front seat next to me. And then there are the conversations. So many conversations. They have always been talkers, my kids. Even when they were 2-3 years old, I remember they would just gab in the back of the seat, right? These conversations might range from the most random, silly topics to some deep, soul-stirring stuff that actually takes me by surprise. The car has become this safe, magical space for us where we can be ourselves. We feel secure. Maybe it's those 4 walls around us that's actually helping us to feel safe and emotionally regulated, like we talked about with those boundaries. And I think what makes these moments so special is that they happen naturally. There's no pressure, there's no distractions, it's just us. You see, connection doesn't always have to be about planning. It doesn't have to be about elaborate outings or having big talks. It is really about showing up in the quiet moments. It's about having a shared laugh or a squeeze of the hand. And while those happen at random moments, we don't plan them, we can't expect them, we do need to be present for those moments to happen. Connection requires us to really tune in, to pause the mental to-do list, and to just be with our children. Lately, I have really been catching on to how conversations at first seem pretty surface level, right? It's just the basic, how was your day? My day was good. Let me tell you about this, da da da. But what I realized is that these conversations often have deeper roots if we're taking time to listen and to be present. Here's an example. The other day, my kids were talking about a game that they were playing at their outdoor school. And it sounded great. It sounded simple. It sounded like they were having fun and they were talking. It was some kind of like who's it game, and they were chasing each other and tagging each other. But as my daughter kept talking, my son joined in. They were talking about this game, and I found out there was a lot more going on. In fact, there was some frustration and strife that happened in the game. They were trying to figure out what happens when some people in the game don't want to play by the rules that were created for the game, how that made everybody feel, what was going on. And it actually allowed us to go on a deeper level and talk about some values in life, what we think, what we hold to be true, how it made them feel, how they responded. And this simple story turned into a really beautiful opportunity for us to talk about empathy, kindness, and what it actually means to show up for the people around us, to show up for ourselves, and, can't believe this, about boundaries. I was talking to them again about boundaries because we all need them, right? These moments of connection happen not just between parents and children, but also within our kids. Like I said, they are starting to really understand their own values and who they want to be in the world. So the next time that your child starts talking to you about what seems like nothing, I encourage you to lean in, to conversate with them, to do that tennis back and forth, and ask questions. Because those conversations can often lead to deeper lessons that we want to teach and that they want to learn. Now, here's something that I've learned the hard way. We can't pour from an empty cup. For us to truly be able to connect to our kids, we need to be connected to ourselves first, right? This means that we need to have received and be practicing those gifts that we talked about previously. The gift of self-acceptance, being okay with who we are, our flaws and all. It means that we need to show ourselves that gift of grace on the hard days when we are losing our patience or we forget something important. And it means that we need to receive that gift of boundaries by setting them, not just with other people, but with ourselves, so we can create the space to show up fully for our families, so that when we are in the car, we have put work away. It is not ours to hold anymore. In fact, in the car, there's nothing that we could do for our work, right? I'll be honest. There are some days when I struggle with this. There are days when I am distracted or stressed, and you can feel it. I can feel it. There's a wall between you and your children, you and your partner, you and your friends. But what I've actually found that is so helpful is that all I have to do is take a moment to breathe, to remind myself that it's not all mine to hold, that I don't need to be perfect, and that I can let those walls down when I'm with my family, that I am safe and secure. Now, before we dive into connecting with our kids, let's make sure that we are giving ourselves those gifts first, that we are receiving them, those gifts of self-acceptance, grace, and boundary. Because trust me, when we feel whole, we are able to show up in a whole different way, in a way that truly matters. One of my favorite ways to connect with kids, or adults for that matter, is through play. Whether it is heading outdoors for a hike, setting up an art project at the kitchen table, or just being silly together, wrestling around. There is something magical about having that unstructured play. It's where we can actually let go of our expectations and just be with the people we are with. There's no agendas, no timelines, just 100% pure connection. I know that this past summer I went on a extended play trip, 3-day play trip with my friend and my daughter. We were backpacking, and like I said, adults and kids, that was play for us. We were hiking, we were starting fires, we were learning how to cook and play in the stream, and it was play. And it was a whole 72 hours of connection. Beautiful. Beautiful. Now, this unstructured play doesn't have to be somewhere special, somewhere big. It could be somewhere in your own house. It could simply be popping out a board game if you need a little bit of structure, or it could be taking a walk right outside your front door with the family. It is not important what you're doing or where you're going. Remember, it's not about the destination. It is all about the experience together, the laughter and the memories that we are creating. Now, I know today's episode is a little short. I am actually up early. We are getting ready to go on a trip as a family. My daughter has gymnastics competition #1 for the season. It's a big deal for her. I don't know if you have caught on in the past episodes, but my daughter is at gymnastics about 16 hours a week, not including what she's doing at home. Like, this is her thing. She loves it. So we're going to go have this great trip together. We have a special house that we're going to be staying in, which is so exciting. We're taking our dogs and just having time to chill, hang out, rest, and be in the mountains together. I'm looking forward to it. But yesterday, I had a floop. I had a screw in my tire, which meant I couldn't go to work, which meant I ended up having to change up my plans, which is okay. I actually used that to do a special thing to make this trip even more special. I made t-shirts for all of us to go to this gymnastics tournament. And I love crafting. It's just something that I really love to do. And I love gifting. My family loves gifts as well. So I got home yesterday afternoon, and after I got my tire fixed, and I jump and I start making these shirts, and my kids came over with me and they said, "Ooh, that looks like fun. What are you doing?" And I talked to them about it. Well, they wanted to join in. So they went and they got their crafting stuff, and we were all set up at the big craft table. I was making the shirts. They were making their things. My daughter made a cool little Spider-Man web for her brother. So sweet. And we were able to just be together, happy, connecting, and it felt so warm and alive. Those are those times when we want to be fully present, fully there, fully connected with our kids. Connection is one of the greatest gifts that we can ever give to our families. And the beautiful thing is that it is not about doing more, or being perfect. It really is just about showing up, being fully present, fully open, and fully engaged in the moments that matter. So whether it's a car ride, a conversation about recess, or an afternoon of unstructured craft time, every small effort adds up. So today, I want to challenge you. What's one way that you can connect with your kiddos this week? Maybe it's going to be putting your phone down during dinner, asking them about their day, or planning a spontaneous little hike together. Please get outdoors, even though it's wintertime. Go take that hike. Let's make connection our priority because it really is the foundation of every single thing that we do as parents. All right, now I'm going to leave you with 3 reflection questions for you guys to look at and reflect on. Now's the time to grab your journal and your notebook, pause this. All right, here we go. Number 1, what are some of the seemingly small conversations that you've had with your kids recently? And how can you lean into those moments and uncover the deeper lessons that are lying just underneath the surface? Number 2, how are you showing yourself grace and self-acceptance? What's one boundary that you have set this week that's going to create more space for connection? And number 3, what is one playful or creative activity that you can do with your kids this week to strengthen your bond? All right, y'all. Thank you so much for spending this time with me today. And if this episode touched you in any way, I would really love if you could share it with a friend, leave a review, throw it up on your social media and tag me with it. I would love to hear from you as well. So don't forget, you can go over to speakpipe.com/nature to nurture. Send me your questions. Tell me what you're working on with all of these gifts. Tell me if any of these gifts are too hard, like you don't even know where to get started on actually receiving and practicing them. Let me know. I would love to chat with you. But until next time, let's keep on nurturing what matters most.